Hi, Jerry Tachoir here once again with mallet tip number 8. This time we're going to talk about mallets and my concept on mallets. Several years ago I actually did a video which is available on YouTube and on my website as well. You can find it, just go to YouTube and do a search for Tachoir. But I talk about kind of the evolution of mallets during my lifetime from primarily the early 70s through the current situation. And there was a lot of changes that happened in mallets. There were very few companies originally making quality mallets. And then when this one person, his name was Bill Marimba, who made the Good Vibes mallets, he actually went out of business. And for a little while, there was a mallet shortage, that just mallets weren't being produced. Fortunately, that doesn't exist today. There are a lot of companies making quality mallets, so you have a lot of options to you. But I want to talk about specifically my decision on what kind of mallets that I use. Foremost, rattan. Rattan is the handle of choice for most vibraphone players for a couple of reasons. One, primarily being dampening. When you dampen a bar with your mallets, you need a lot of pressure on the bar to actually cut the bar off from ringing. And that pressure comes from the flexibility of this rattan to actually put pressure on the mallets to get the mallet. You can see the mallet actually bending. And that's real important. We want to be able to put a lot of pressure because we're dampening. And the rattan gives us that. Another thing with rattan is if I'm playing and I really need to pop a note, I really want that note to sound, I can use the flex of rattan to just kind of snap it and get that pop of the note, and it's a kind of a nice effect to be able to do that. So rattan is obviously, again, something that I take pride in and that I have to have for my performance. Now, the other option is obviously the dowel rods, which are a wooden dowel rod. It's a machine product. Usually it's a birch wood. And the advantage of dowel rods is they're consistent. Being that they're machined, they're usually very straight, they're usually the same weight, the same thickness, they have the same degree of rigidity, and it's a nice choice for a mallet, primarily for marimba players. Again, it doesn't apply to me on the vibraphone because of the things that I need to be able to dampen and the flex that I want out of rattan. But dowel is another option. Now, rattan in general, being that it is a naturally grown product. In other words, it's a plant. It has inconsistencies. It has inconsistencies in shape, in size, in weight, in flex, in thickness. And these are all issues that we have to deal with whenever we decide that we want to play rattan mallets. When you look for rattan mallets, you want to first of all find rattan that's fairly straight. You want to find the straightest rattan handles that you can. And that is the problem in itself, and to find straight rattan. But once you do get them, there's also no guarantee that they're going to stay straight. A lot of times when you perform in very humid areas or outdoor concerts or where you have a lot of your moisture from your hand actually getting into the mallets may warp, which means they're going to get bent, and then it's real hard to play them because as you play, it tends to flip in your hand and it's very uncomfortable. But there are ways to deal with that. You can actually boil some water on usually a tea kettle or something like that, and you hold the mallet over the tea kettle, over the steam that's coming out of the tea kettle for a few seconds. And if the mallet's like bent like this, and you want to obviously bend it the opposite direction over the steam for a few seconds, take it away, let it cool, and then let it go and see how it looks. Usually you can bring it back to straight. It may take a couple of times of going back and forth, and then you clean it off and it's fairly straight. So that's one of the problems of rattan. Now, rattan also, again, being a natural product, the thicknesses are very inconsistent. So when you go to select mallets, you try to find mallets that are equally the same thickness. And I like a fairly thin mallet. I don't like a big fat mallet because it tends to hurt my hand. So I look for thin mallets, but I want a mallet to be very rigid. I don't like a whippy, flexible mallet. I mean, it's naturally going to have flex because it is rattan, but I don't like a whippy mallet. So I like it to be very rigid as I can get it out of rattan. I'm looking for straight, And then I'm also looking for a consistency in the roundness. Sometimes, again, a natural product, when it grows, the rattan isn't perfectly round. And sometimes you'll get like an eggshell, or I'm sorry, an egg-shaped rattan. And it just feels uncomfortable in your hand. So these are things that you have to look for. Now, regarding the heads, I'm very fortunate that I have this endorsement with Innovative Percussion. They're the makers of the Jerry Tachoir JT23 mallet that I use. And this went through about a year of prototypes. So I'm very proud of this mallet, and it's really something that I listen for in terms of the sound quality and something that we strive to get. But regarding the heads, Innovative Percussion mallets, I've never had the heads come flying off. They both thread them on and they are also glued on, and they just have, I've never had a problem, whereas other mallets from time to time the heads obviously pop off. With my universal mallet that I have, I'm looking for a mallet that gives me a great fundamental in sound. I want to be able to play on the low end of the vibraphone or marimba and produce a really nice rounded fundamental without that attacky sound. I don't like that ancient sound of very hard mallets. And back in the 20s and 30s, a lot of the recordings of vibraphone players that I would listen to, their sound was brittle. It was almost sound like they were using glass mallets. It's a very harsh sound and something that I don't like at all. So I'm looking for a real nice, mellow, fundamental of tone, but yet I want to be able to have the ability to play soft and also play loud when I need to. And these mallets do that for me. Here's an example. As you hear, there's a nice fundamental. I can play very soft. I can play very loud. I can dampen. The rattan gives me that ability. So these are things that you're looking for in a mallet. I don't have time as a contemporary vibraphone player to be juggling mallets. In other words, I want to have a set of mallets that's going to allow me to do what I need to do. If I'm playing soft, if I'm just supporting somebody harmonically, I want the mallet here to do it. If it's my turn to solo, I need to project, I want this mallet. I don't have time to reach over and grab a soft mallet and then grab a hard mallet and then find my medium mallets and go back to my soft. This mallet does it all for me. This is all I need. I'm very happy to have it. So hopefully this gives you some information on choosing mallets and finding out what mallets work for you. I want to thank you again. Thank to my sponsors, Ludwig Musser, Innovative Percussion, and Good Vibes Sound Studio, and Avita Jazz Records. So it's been a pleasure. Keep looking for some more tips we have. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.